building patient power from seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA. Theater as a force for change. Voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing. Racism on the left, building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County. Committee for the First Amendment and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. We'll see you there.
The blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent, joining you from Washington, D.C. today. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, go to KBLA1580.com to sign up to participate in the Left Coast Forum. It's all going down at LA Trade Tech on October 25th. Be there or be square. You'll have keynotes like Dr. Cornel West and Richard Wolff. You'll have so many leaders on the front lines right there at the Left Coast Forum. And so don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself for an opportunity to plug in with a number of frontline leaders that are leading the way. They are leading the way boldly, might I say. So go to KBLA1580.com to sign up. Now it's time for your National News Roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, hundreds of people cover the Pentagon every single day. And I was proud to see many of the journalists that cover the Pentagon not sign that wacky agreement that was put before them. But there are 15 who did sign this new press policy. The Washington Post reporting that only 15 people had signed the Defense Department's new press policy as of this afternoon, according to some internal government documents viewed by the Post. Journalists from nearly every major U.S. news outlet, including the Washington Post, they turned in their press badge yesterday, on Wednesday, after refusing to adhere to the new rules for the reporters at the Pentagon, which prohibits soliciting information that the government doesn't authorize reporters to have. What? But a contingent of smaller outlets, foreign media, freelancers, and MAGA-friendly press, they did sign on. The list of signatories include 4 reporters from right-wing outlets, one from the website The Federalist, one from the Epic Times newspaper, and 2 from the cable network One America News. And so now we know. Now we know. We know who's checking for who. Speaking of who's checking and not checking for who, after racist Kansas young Republicans chat leaks, Governor Kelly calls out the post from the state GOP. You all might remember a few days ago, I shared that Politico exposed the racist and homophobic messages sent by leaders of the Kansas young Republicans. Democratic Governor Laura Kelly said the state GOP modeled similar behavior in its own social media post. The Kansas GOP immediately condemned the message, which included slurs for Black and gay people in reference praising Hitler. The Kansas young Republicans became inactive as of Tuesday. Just because they're inactive, it doesn't mean that they didn't say what they said. And they said a lot of things that were deeply troubling. I'm sure we'll come back to that. Finally, are you an actual book nerd? Or are you just a performative reader? NBC News is raising the question for folks out there, because on social media, real and staged videos of people reading at coffee shops or escalators or at basketball games have become fodder for jokes about performative reading, or the idea that people want to look like they're reading without actually doing so. Some have playfully shared their own list of books that they deem suitable to, quote, read performatively on public transit. Many of the call-outs are simply memes, running jokes for people to get in on. But avid readers say that the concept of reading for social points is a very real phenomenon that has unwittingly influenced how people approach books. I don't know about you. I ain't got time to sit up there and performative read. I'm reading in preparation for this show. I'm reading for a number of other projects that I'm working on. And so I don't have time to sit there and read for play. But if you do, we listen and we don't judge. When we come forward, we are going to be resharing a conversation I had recently with Roberto Clemente Jr., the son of the famed Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. It is one of the most unforgettable conversations I've had this year, and I think you're going to enjoy it too. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kid. IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
One thank you. Yeah.
What
California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests as we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and really delighted to welcome the son of a legend. It's not every day that we get to talk to the kinfolk of a legend. I'm talking about Roberto Clemente. You don't have to be a baseball fan to bask in the commitment to excellence, to bask in the commitment to community that Roberto Clemente represented. And nobody may know that better than Roberto Clemente Jr., who is a baseball broadcaster. He's a former professional baseball player from San Juan, Puerto Rico himself. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. Great to be here tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. We're here talking about your upcoming documentary about Roberto Clemente. It's called Clemente. The documentary comes out in select cities this Friday. I had a chance to watch it for the first time today, and I was blown away. I texted my producer Art and said, "Oh my goodness, I can't wait to talk to him today," because your dad was, talk about raising the bar. I mean, he has garnered so much respect, not just in Puerto Rico, not just among Pittsburgh Pirates fans, but across the country and around the world for raising the bar. Why did you all feel that this was the time to tell your dad's story in a documentary?
There have been many books written, even documentaries, but I think this one in particular, I believe the timing and just the mere fact that we as a family had, we were part of the team at this time. Never before this happened. We were, come on, be part of this. We want you to be part of this, and be able to be producers. So I think that's what made it very special for the family to be involved in. And Mom, that last interview that she did was with Vinegar Hill at the museum. So for us, it was even more special to be part of this project, and the timing to come out. I mean, it took 6 years. So I think that the timing in itself was God's timing, because before, it would have been great, but right now, we all need a story like this to come out, be able to unify the world and step back. It's a call to action to step back and take a look at how we're impacting our surroundings and our environment, and be able to do something just like as he did.
One of the things that was mentioned time and time again in the film, and so many things have been written about your father, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente, is his heart was with the people, particularly people who were suffering. As you reflect on your father's life and legacy, how do you compare that to sort of modern times where, sometimes when we're, thumbing through the paper or, we're scrolling through our social media, and it appears sometimes as if we have, professional athletes and celebrities that are more interested in themselves and building their own brands than building community and showing up for the least among us. How do you reconcile that as we all try to process and digest some of the latest headlines of the day?
You know, we as human beings, even though way back when, you have the same type of characters around you. Obviously, from back in the day, you have very colorful guys that were loud, and we all have those type of people around us, and trying to get us to go out and hang out, and I mean, there were sacrifices that he made. He very, very, very at the beginning, he knew he was going to represent the minority people, the working class. And that's how he really put it upon himself before he walked over that line in 1955. And he already knew that by working hard, making sure that he made sure he felt respected, made sure he demanded respect, because he was going to be representing the players behind him coming up. I think that he really made sure that he stayed in that lane to pave the way the right way, utilizing that platform. Hyper-focusing on what he loved the most was helping the children, helping people. And I think that's what, motivated him the most was his faith in the Lord, and really, making sure that he impacted those young people that needed some guidance.
I mean, speaking of young people that were impacted, there were so many stories that you all packed into this film, but one that comes to mind was a kid that was just outside, practicing, and your father drove by, and he recognized your dad's car and waved him down, and your dad actually stopped and played catch with him and wanted to see, what he had to offer athletically, and his parents were blown away, they invited your dad in for dinner, and he went and had dinner with a family that he hadn't known before, and of course it's had a lasting impact on them. I would imagine, these are just some of the stories that are in the film, but how many more of these stories exist that you couldn't get into the film?
It's a plethora I mean, we have, and I've heard so many throughout the years, that everywhere I go, I hear stories, things that he did, how he impacted a family here, a family there, but it has been so many. I mean, it's not even hundreds, it's actually kind of thousands throughout, the 50 years that I've been, walking around and hearing these stories. And it's amazing to me that it seems that every year his legacy gets stronger, and we continue to receive inquiries and requests to let a school be named after him, a park be named after him, a league. Every year, just more and more, and it's amazing. Hospitals. So obviously, there's a lot of kids that are learning about Clemente in school, and I believe that this documentary is only going to really fortify and that learning experience that they're having in school in 3rd and 7th grade. And we're excited. We're excited. We're working on curriculum right now for kids in middle school. And I can tell you that the impact of Clemente is still going strong.
Very, very much so. Very much so. One of the continued impacts he has is on the community in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He arrived in Pittsburgh as a historic first and only. By the time he passed, the Pittsburgh Pirates, had a record number of Black and brown folks that were on the roster. And this was before there was any diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. Talk to us about how you're reflecting on that. The fact that we live in a time where clearly there's an attack on all things diversity, equity, and inclusion. But there's always been an attack on all things diversity, equity, and inclusion. Talk to us about how your dad made a way that led to more and not less opportunity for Black and brown folks in Major League Baseball.
From the very beginning, even when he first got to Pittsburgh, for example, even the media, they didn't know how to handle him, and they called him a hot dog. A Puerto Rican hot dog just arrived to Pittsburgh. But at the end of the day, it's the fact that they did not want him here, but he made himself felt. And at the end of the day, he always said, if I'm not good enough to, eat here, play well here, and so forth, I'll leave. It's fine. But you know what? He said, I'm here to play baseball. Baseball was just that vehicle to transform the people that were not believers, he really changed so many minds in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because of the way that he carried himself on and off the field. They wanted to win. He helped them win. But off the field, he was something completely different. It was an outsider. He became an insider. He became someone that advocated for the community. He advocated for people everywhere. He actually went to the mayor of the city many times, advocated for different people he didn't even know, for them to get jobs, and be able to recognize that yes, he was going through a lot of things, but the racism was very, very. You could feel that he was going through it, but he kept his head high. He kept getting better and getting better. You cannot deny when you're good, you belong, and they have no choice, and they have no choice to actually let him speak his mind, because the platform. He made it his.
He did. He made it his. Some folks in the film saying that, quotes, everything about him was royalty. Has that been hard to live up to? Not just as his son, but as the son who also bears his name. How have you managed sort of the weight of your dad's living legacy while also trying to, go down your own path and pursue your own dreams?
It was not easy. It has not been easy throughout my life. Obviously, I grew up with a sense of guilt, feeling of guilt for many years, that I did not do enough to stop him from getting on that plane. And I took that very personal. I took that very, very hard. People don't understand how hard I took that, because I knew that the plane was going to go down. So I had to deal with that piece, and some other things that happened as well, traumatically, trauma that happened 3 weeks later. So those things did not make it easy. And I even told my mom when I was like 13, I said, Mom, I need to change my name, because I did not feel I had an identity. You're the son of, that's how, I didn't have a name. You're a junior, you're the son of. And it took a while for me to understand that people were still feeling the connection to him. They were impacted. They still miss him, and I am an extension of his, and obviously carrying the name even more so. So when they hear the name, tears. It's like they start rolling, and they get emotional, and it happens every day of my life. So it has been hard. I was consoling people that I didn't even know, and I never had a chance to grieve myself since the day of the accident. The first day that I cried was 2004, about the accident. I cried for all my old kinds of things, but in terms of the accident itself, to be connected to that emotion for that accident with 2004.
When we come forward, I want to talk just a little bit more about this accident, because what was so soul stirring in the film, it really gave me chills, was that there was an accident that led to the death of your aunt, Roberto Clemente's sister, when she was very young. And one of the things you talk about in the film is that he was sort of spiritually connected to his sister over the course of his life. And it was interesting to me that you had a dream, had an experience that led you to tell your dad to not get on that plane. And when asked why, you said, because the plane's going to crash, and it did. I want to, talk about, how this experience continues to shape your spirituality and the spirituality of your family, which is a through line in the film. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Roberto Clemente Jr. when we come forward.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Senate has again rejected a Republican-backed spending bill to end the government shutdown, the 10th failed attempt. Lawmakers also blocked a measure to fund the Department of War as Democrats push to negotiate Obamacare subsidy extensions. Fireworks are expected in tonight's New York City mayoral debate featuring Zohran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa, with Mamdani leading the polls. In Virginia, Republican Attorney General Jason Miyares faces Black Democrat Jay Jones, who's under fire over resurfaced violent text messages. And Kim Kardashian recently opened up on the Call Her Daddy podcast about the toxic end of her marriage to Kanye West, saying she often felt unsafe emotionally and financially. She recalled one incident where West bought several Lamborghinis and gave them away during what she calls an episode. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good news in Norwalk. A crash on the 605 as Suez making your way along that northbound side at Rosecrans. 2 right lanes now cleared, and they've cleared this crash off of the freeway as well. Huge delays still backing up out of Los Alamitos, leaving Catella. You're tough on the 5. This is southbound out of Burbank. Delays from Olive and stretches all the way to the 605 freeway. And in Anaheim, eastbound side of the 91. That's where traffic, we're going to back up that 91 eastbound all the way out of Carson from Avalon, because you remain on the brakes all the way to Green River.
Hard rock style is coming to the Central Valley. Just 15 miles south of Bakersfield off Route 99. You'll find world-class gaming and entertainment. Less drive time equals more playtime. The all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Week 7 of the NFL regular season begins tonight with the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. You need to be a Prime Video subscriber to watch the game at home. Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin, one of 5 African-American head coaches in the NFL, is 4-1. Tampa Bay's Todd Bowles is 5-1. He's in first place in the NFC South Division. The one coach among the 5 that needs a win in the worst way is Aaron Glenn of the New York Jets. The Jets are 0-6 in Glenn's first season with the team. The Jets are at home Sunday against Carolina. Show some love for Glenn this weekend. He could use it. We are 9 days away from the first ever HBCU football game in Las Vegas, Jackson State versus Grambling. Saturday, October 25th at Allegiant Stadium, home field of the NFL Las Vegas Raiders. If you're thinking about going, check for tickets at Ticketmaster.com. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. As you know by now, our major keynoters include Professor Richard Wolff and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. But listen to some of these plenaries: fighting for black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts, and building patient power. From seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA. Theater as a force for change. Voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing. Racism on the left. Building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County. Committee for the First Amendment and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
National News, The Consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and really just thrilled, honored to have Roberto Clemente Jr. With us today. He's the executive producer of Clemente, the documentary that is coming out, Run, Don't Walk, to see it. Where can people go to check out the documentary?
Well, they can go to clementefilm.com. They can actually check out where the film is playing, what theaters. It will be streaming out also on History Channel on the 23rd. So we're excited for everyone to be able to have the opportunity to watch this documentary, like I said before, and let it be a call to action for all of us.
Absolutely. Before the break, we were talking about the plane crash, the accident that took the life of your father, Roberto Clemente, MLB Hall of Famer. And one of the things I didn't know about that story is that you as a kid said to your dad, don't get on that plane. You said to your dad, don't get on that plane. It's going to crash. what gave you that impression? Where did you get the idea that his plane was going to crash?
It was a message. We didn't know he was flying. I had no clue. When I woke up that morning, I was excited because we were having a New Year's Eve party. We had our friends flying in from, Pittsburgh, Allentown, Philadelphia, New York, and they were all coming to spend some time with us in the winter and for the party. So I already knew they were coming, so I woke up excited, and as I'm walking towards Dad, he was sitting in the dining room table, wanted to say bendición, bless me, as we always do. And as soon as I got to in front of him, that just came out of my mouth, from out of nowhere. And he looked at me, and I said, Dad, don't, like, I already knew. This premonition just was so strong. He said, no, see you when I get back. And obviously the rest is history, because the plane went down.
Was that the first time you had a premonition like that?
It was my first, but not my last. Yes, it was my first. That was my first one. I was 7. I've had quite a few after that. Things, I knew my grandmother passed without anyone letting me know. I told my mom, I informed my mom that my grandmother had just passed, and 2 minutes later the phone rings, and she had passed. A year after the accident with Dad, I came home from school and went to get my backpack to my room, and I saw my grandfather laying in our guest room, and with a brown paper bag. He had a brown paper bag full of candy every time we went visit on top of his night table. So I went, and he had his bag, and he's smiling. So I go and I drop off my backpack. But when I come back, he's gone. And I asked, our Nancy, where's Grandpa? Said there's no one in the house. He had passed as well. But I've had, in terms of premonitions, I've had quite a few. That people I didn't even know that all of a sudden I stopped them in the street with a message for them, and it's people kind of but I feel that it's a message that I need to really deliver. So whenever it happens, I tend to deliver that message.
Do you believe your dad was also sort of gifted in that way, in some special way? I mean, there's some reference in the documentary to sort of the vision he would have with his sister.
Yeah, absolutely. The family, from his father, my grandfather also had that, the ability, or that gift, if you will. I know that Dad was very spiritual, and that relationship with Anaides, his sister, all throughout his life. Was very, very evident that she was with him at all times.
Well, these are just some of the insights that you get to enjoy in what is a very well done documentary. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly recommend it to all of our leaders, members, and listeners. We want to make sure that you go to clementefilm.com to figure out where it's playing in a theater near you, but know that it will be streaming on the History Channel on September 23rd. And so lock that in and make an event out of it. God bless you and God bless your family. What a terrific film. And let me just say that we end every show by reminding people to do what they can from where they are with what they have. And to me, that is very much the legacy of your father, even to the very end, doing what he could with his platform, doing what he could with his voice, doing what he could with his resources to show up and support other people. And so I hope that that part of your dad's legacy brings you and your family comfort.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I appreciate you for having me. Thank you.
You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in the National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. And now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. You all hear me very often talk about how much I believe no data, no justice. No data, no justice. Data is critically important. That's a part of what this race to win the future with AI is all about. We've even seen stories written that suggest that data on any particular day may be more valuable than a barrel of oil, for example. And so here to help us sort of separate the fact from the fiction, I'm delighted to welcome Jamar Reed. He is a managing partner over in District Analyst. He is also an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and so he knows a lot about looking under the hood at the data. It's one thing when people say, this is what we're about, this is what we're doing. It's another thing when the data says something completely different. Jamar, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Quartey. Appreciate the offer, the invite.
Absolutely. Well, the first of many. One of the things I really wanted to drill down with you on is artificial intelligence and the future of Black businesses. My fear is that there aren't enough Black businesses, Black organizations, Black institutions that are prepared for this moment that we find ourselves in, where good data in,
Yep.
good insights, out. Bad data in or old data in, old insights, old strategies out. And so if you had to grade just our readiness as a community for this AI revolution powered by data, big data, what would we get a passing grade?
I think, Dr. Quartey, I think we're moving in that direction. You often hear it. You hear the conversations happening with our organizations, within our churches, on the radio. But I fear that we're probably, I would give us a C+. And the only reason I say that is I think that there is that fear that still exists, and I think rightfully so. I think that, when we think about, and just to speak specifically about artificial intelligence, there's that fear that exists. And sometimes with that fear, we tend to hold off on learning more about what's there. And I think that when I think about 25 years ago, year 2000, there was the big push to digitize, to move everything to digital, to move from paper to digital. And there was the resistance. And I think those that realized that it was coming and moved to embrace it, they were the ones that were able to get ahead of the coming digitization of business. And what my hope is that Black people and Black businesses will do what Black people have always done. Use technology to get closer to freedom, to free us. So how do we use this technology to advance our community? How do we use this technology in the same way that we used education to move us forward? So I give us a C+, but I think that there is the opportunity for us to improve in that space. And the last thing I'll say on that point is I think that data and AI, it can be an equalizer. And I think the goal is to democratize that data, make sure that, and I think that's the great thing about AI, is that it allows for small businesses, small Black businesses, to have access to information that might have in the past only existed in large organizations. So I hope I answered your question there. Yeah.
No, I know. I think you did. I mean, my mind goes to, what are some examples, of, leaders on the front lines that we may want to model ourselves after, or case studies that we may want to lean into in terms of Black businesses, Black entrepreneurs that are embracing AI and are experiencing smart growth.
Yeah. So I lean into, and I, content creators. Content creators have embraced not only data, but artificial intelligence, AI. They've embraced the fact that, hey, I have the opportunity to have real-time feedback from the folks that are following and listening into the messages that I'm putting out there, the content that I'm putting out there. And I think those content creators that have learned to not only put out good content, but to improve based on what they're seeing from what the data is telling them. So I think that content creators, I think those folks tend to be on the front line with regard to using data and using it to improve messaging.
And we talk a lot about content creators. We talk a lot about the creative economy, but I don't think we talk nearly enough about some of the jobs of the future, like data analysts. Is becoming a data analyst, is that an entryway to working with AI that we're overlooking?
Yeah. So I'd say yes. I mean, in the space that I'm in, I will say that there aren't, I see us, but I don't see us in the way in which I wish I was able to see us in the space. And I'm starting to see, I'm having conversations at some of the HBCUs and with folks that work at HBCUs. And there's a lot of conversation around how do we get out in front of this? How do we prepare young people to go into fields where they will interact with data, and not only interact with it, but you apply it so that we can make better decisions about the businesses that we're, not only if we're going into corporate America, making better decisions using data, or even going back into our communities and working with those Black businesses that have been seated in our community since we've been here. I think that's the I think getting out in front with young folks and directing them towards that path. We need more data. We need more data engineers. We need more data scientists, data analysts. Not only, and the other thing is also we want to be a part of the production, not just consumption. So we,
now, wait a minute. You got to say that again for the people in the back. I mean, that was right on the nose.
Yeah. So yeah, we want to be a part of production, not just consumption, and we want to make sure that we're indexing well on that production side of the house. I think that will go a long way. Again, those are the spaces I think we need to be paying attention to.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. Jamar, you're also the founder of District Analyst LLC. For folks who are unfamiliar, it's a Washington, D.C. based consultancy that partners with senior leaders and entrepreneurs and small businesses to transform complex data into clear, actionable strategies. As I talk to leaders of various companies and organizations, I'm thinking about the kinds of folks that they recruit to be a part of their board. So whether you're talking about, a legacy organization or a startup, folks, look for a certain skill set when it comes to board members. Talk to us about the skill set of the future as folks are leaning into this digital transformation. What kind of senior leaders, what kind of skill set should they be looking for in their senior leaders and their board members?
Yeah, so I appreciate that question. I think that's a really good question. One thing that I would advise is, and this is something that's not new, technology doesn't change this. I think that making sure that we're hiring folks that are not hiring folks, but bringing on board members and leaders that are curious. They really want to understand not only what the information tells us, not just beyond, again, the consumption side of things, but are we asking the right questions? So folks that are curious, that are asking the right questions, that are open to using technology as the tool that it is to get us closer to making those very important decisions. And so I think folks that are curious, those that embrace technology for the tool that it is, and those that are, I think I already said, asking the right questions, but leaning in and being curious about the business that is in front of us.
When we come forward, I'm going to give you the final word, Jamar. I'm going to give you a chance to look into your crystal ball and tell us something that we don't know, something that we are not paying enough attention to, something that may not be breaking through in the media when it comes to AI and the future of Black business. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward with Jamar Reed, founder of District Analyst LLC. Oh, well, we're back. We're back with Jamar Reed. That was basically the broadcast equivalent of psych. That's all right. So Jamar, in our remaining minutes, I want to ask you, what is it that we don't know? What is it that we might be missing? What's not breaking through the very noisy media environment that we find ourselves in when it comes to Black people, Black businesses, Black organizations, sort of meeting the moment and leaning into AI for the sake of the future of our businesses?
Yeah, and I'll give it very quickly. I mean, there was a McKinsey report that came out in 2023 that basically said that there's the chance that if Black folks don't embrace and make space and move into utilizing AI, it could lead to a $43 billion gap in the wealth income between our community and the white community. But there is I say that saying that that's what could happen, but I think there is the opportunity to close that gap and to use the fact that there is the opportunity to democratize data, to basically flatten the playing field, have access to information that we would not ordinarily have access to, and use that information to improve our businesses, make our businesses. I guess, how do I say? I just say improving our businesses in the way that we run those businesses. So there is the opportunity to close that gap. Yeah.
Well, and it's a gap that we have no alternative. We have to do everything we can to close that gap. There already is a wealth gap that exists in this country, and if we turn a blind eye, to your point, this will only make it worse. Jamar, I hope we can have you back again very soon to dig a little bit deeper. When we say on this show, no data, no justice, we mean it. But we don't want to just stop there. We want to make sure that we are empowering people with the tips, tools, and resources to do something about it. I know that you've talked extensively about the data advantage and how Black-owned businesses can leverage analytics to compete and win. I think there are a lot of our leaders, learners, and listeners that want to hear more from you on that. And so I hope you'll take us up on our invitation to come back again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Quartey. I really appreciate you having me today.
Thank you. This is where we're going to have to leave it. My thanks to the entire village that helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, also a Kappa man. Just saying. Just saying. Jamar, I know. I read all my notes. Our thanks to also our sound engineer extraordinaire, Brother Andy, to our show producers, Faraji and Art and Journey, thank you. And to all of our leaders, learners, and listeners, we thank you too. I saw what you said in the chat, Selena Ricks. I'm glad that you are a proud leader, learner, and listener. And as we always say, don't panic, organize. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and you've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Senate has once again rejected a Republican-backed spending bill to end the government shutdown, marking the 10th failed attempt. Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries blames Republicans for the stalemate.
Republicans in the Congress have chosen to function like lapdogs for the Trump administration.
Democrats also blocked a separate measure to fund the Department of War, pushing instead to begin talks on